Matty, the Bombers take on Melbourne at the MCG on Saturday, coming off obviously a big loss against St Kilda. What are the signs you're going to look for early in the game to see if the Bombers are switched on this week?
I think the Bombers got beaten up pretty badly in the midfield in that first 5 to 10 minutes, and that's probably set the tone for the day. So I'm going to be looking at the first 2 or 3 stoppages, the effort around the ball, the contest, the pressure around the ball. I think that's where it all stems from. Your confidence comes from all the little things, the chases, the tackles, the smothers, and the rest just falls into line from there. So I think that's what I'll be looking for early on. And I think spread from the stoppages as well was an area that St Kilda really beat up on the Essendon midfield. So once the Bombers can win the ball, who's spreading harder and can hurt Melbourne on the spread and overlap.
How did you find these weeks during your career? We hear a lot of talk about honesty sessions and things like that and addressing these kind of issues. How did you find it during your career?
It was really tough, particularly if you got belted on a Friday night and you had to wait around Saturday, Sunday dwelling on it. And then Monday's a difficult day because the video review's coming and you're going to see yourself in some pretty poor moments and where your effort wasn't good enough due to a lack of confidence half the time. So I think once Tuesday comes around, it's like that game's gone. How can I focus and get better? So you'll watch your tape with your coach, your individual tape where you can watch your game and there's really nowhere to hide, and you can start building on things that you can do better within your own game and then also with the team. So as I said, by now the boys will be feeling pretty good about what they can do against Melbourne.
Is there extra pressure on the leaders to really step up this week in the absence of Jobe Watson?
I think there's pressure right across the board. I think obviously with Jobe not there, David Myers in the leadership group hasn't been there. Heath Hocking is a pretty talkative sort of guy, so a lot's going to fall upon other players. But that's where you do find out what the leadership of, say, a Merritt down the track and his brother down the track, how Brendan Goddard can perform after a poor game. He's done it plenty of times before. So, I think the pride in your own performance in your jumper will really come into show on Saturday afternoon.
Melbourne have certainly shown some improvement across the season. What do they do well?
They're really committed. I think they're probably not playing for 4 quarters often enough. That Geelong game was as good as I've seen them play for about 5 years. So I think guys like Bernie Vince, Daniel Cross, Brayshaw may not play this week, but just the hardness I think has just been something that I've noticed, that they're just in games because they've been so competitive. And I think Jesse Hogan, Jeff Garlett, I think their improvement in kicking a winning score is something that's really improved out of sight this year. So I think that's a real feature. And in defence, they're pretty competitive. Guys like Lyndon Dunn, Tom McDonald, Colin Garland, they don't give much away. So that's what I'd say. I think their competitiveness has improved out of sight.
Does Bagley get Garlett and Hurley Hogan?
Yeah, I think that's probably the most realistic option, just whether the Bombers decide to go a hooker forward again or do they throw Hurley forward. So they're all the matchups that the Bombers will look at and Hurdy over the next couple of days. All
right, well, hopefully the Bombers can turn it around and we're reviewing a win early next week. Thanks a lot, Matty.
Thanks, Simon.